Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Mr. Thornton, good morning.
Good morning.
This case has got a somewhat complicated history. Here's the manager, Maria. The title of the case is Sturgis Place Apartments versus Todd Werner. We had a hearing on March 17th. Mr. Werner was here by Zoom. Mr. Thornton and Ms. Matson, the manager, was here. We agree the accounting is still correct. The defendant plans to stay and pay the rent. He has a tax refund coming, and he's going to use his taxes to pay the rent. So we continued the matter until March 24th and had a second hearing. We determined at that time that he owed April's rent, or through April, he owed $1,255, $107.33 in costs, or something. I think that was renter's insurance and something. Anyway, plus court costs, we came up with $1,586.93. And we entered a judgment in that amount. It was due by April 3rd. So we have the hearing. And then Mr. Werner sends me a letter saying, here's all the stuff I didn't tell you in court. Well, that's not very helpful. That was April 9th. And so I forwarded a copy of that to Mr. Thornton and asked him if he would be available this morning for an emergency hearing regarding this matter. He has submitted a application for a writ of eviction, alleging that you have not paid the rent as we agreed on April 24th. I took some time on, March 24th. I took some time on the 17th. I took some time on the 24th. We came up with that number. Then 10 days later, you send me a letter and said, well, wait a minute. So one option was to ignore it. And the other option was to set this emergency hearing. Your contention is that you have paid the rent?
It's not a contention, Your Honor. I sent you my payments. I sent you this, so it's not a contention. It's a fact that took place. I'm not sure where.
Matson, what can you tell us? Defendant claims that he has paid the judgment amount.
Your Honor, if I could, before Ms. Matson, the facts are pretty simple. Mr. Warner's allegation of paying $1,355 towards the judgment amount is just inaccurate, wrong. When we were in court and the court entered the judgment on March 24th, Mr. Warner's payments, he had made 3 payments that total at $1,355. All 3 of those payments were applied towards those amounts before the judgment entered. The only payment made after March 24th, the judgment entry, was the $224.60 made on March 30th after the hearing, which obviously would not prevent the order of eviction. Out of those 3 payments totaling $1,355, one was received, $300 was received March 4th. 20 days before the hearing. The second one for $150 was received March 16th. So what, 8 days before the hearing? And the final that make up that $1,355, the payment of $905 was received 2 days before the hearing, March 20th. So actually, no, March 22nd. So all three of those payments totaling $13.55 were applied, were considered. The court found, and primarily the only rent owed prior to April that got included in that judgment was $107.33. The court, per my request, added April's rent in since it was going to come due. And that brought the judgment to the $1586.93 total. So it's pretty simple. I don't understand why Mr. Warner applied for this emergency hearing. Our Stoughton Estates or Sturgis Place Apartments request is that the court enter our order of eviction today during this hearing so that we can complete the eviction process that Sturgis Place is entitled to. And Maria, can you vouch for the accuracy of what I've represented to the court as far as the payments?
Yes, I'm looking at his ledger right now, and everything that you stated is 100% accurate for the payments.
Werner, you did make some payments, but they went toward stuff that happened before the judgment.
March's rent.
You paid March's rent. Well, you also owed April's rent.
How can I owe future payments on a March judgment?
Because the judgment was through April 3rd. And so April's rent was going to be due before the period got there. So I added the 107.33, the 12.55. And so this has all been a shell game. And they still wish to evict you.
Okay.
Yeah, we were here. Everything that Mr. Thornton said was stated here on the record. So yeah, the writ date would have been after April 1st. So I included April's rent, and April's rent is $1,255. It's now April 14th. It has not been paid. 224.60, I think, was paid, but they're still in arrearage.
Okay, but yes, sorry. I'm sorry.
So how much is due right now, Lance?
Well, so it'd be the 1586.93 minus the 224.60 that was paid. But Sturgis Place position is we would like the order of eviction and proceed with the eviction. The time period for paying the rent has passed.
You are under the impression payments for March.
Are you waiting for a response from me?
No, I'm doing a calculation here. That's $1,326.33, which is basically April's rent, maybe a late fee or something in there and a little bit more. But they're asking for the writ of eviction effective immediately and to have you move out. It would have entered on April 15th. I've been sitting on it pending this hearing because of your letter, but your letter isn't accurate. The facts are not correct.
Well, I was the impression based on having a hearing on the 17th of March for March's rent. I don't know how it is I possibly missed that April's rent was being added to a March judgment. I don't know how I
We had
missed that.
we had a hearing on April 17th. We had another one on April 24th. And I
Mark,
said, March 24th, I said it clearly on the record. You owe April's rent. Your rent's expensive, $1,255 a month. It's the most expensive rent in the county. I was here, you were here. We made a record on it. You can go watch it on YouTube if you want to see what was said. I don't believe it's been deleted yet. And you didn't pay it.
okay, well,
And they wanted to be paid. And now they just want you to move like 5 minutes from now.
okay, well, since, okay, since the last court case, I had the opportunity to speak with a lawyer, and my bankruptcy information came to light. And I had an automatic stay put on my debts March 9th of 2022. And Stoughton Place Apartments took me to court on 9/21 of 22 for arrearages, which the automatic stay prevents them from receiving. So this has come into play since our last court hearing, because I had the opportunity, because I'm 60, I got to talk to a lawyer. So that is going to play into this, because this is an illegal act.
Well, so you just get to live there without paying any rent?
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying, Your Honor. I'm not expecting to live for free. It came to light to me. I was unaware of this before I spoke to the lawyer, that a stay was put on my account, or an automatic stay was put on all my insecure debt. And I was in contact with Stoughton State's
All right, well,
Apartment.
the problem is, then this is new debt. After your if you declare bankruptcy in 2022, it doesn't insulate you from paying rent in 2023.
No, it doesn't
All this is
insulate me.
post bankruptcy. And
Yes. So in other words, you're telling me it's a moot point.
Yes, your bankruptcy would have wiped out.
But yet I
previous.
paid her $2,900. Go ahead.
Landlord tenant debt is sometimes uncertain in bankruptcy court. But he declared bankruptcy, okay. But then that doesn't prevent your lease from going forward, where you have to pay rent each month, and you did pay a number of months. So you were here, I was here, we were here. I made it clear on the record. I added April's rent. I sent you a copy of the judgment with the dollar amounts in it.
Correct.
You paid $224. You did
No.
not pay $1,500.
Well,
And you had to pay the entire amount, or you were subject to being evicted. And now they want you to be evicted.
okay, well, that $224 payment that they're saying that I paid for April was for March, because it was a March payment. And on the judgment, it was never checked, will or will not cause eviction, which I also included in my letter.
Yeah, acceptance of partial payment will not prevent. Yeah, I didn't check the box. Well, now it's April. You haven't paid April's rent.
Yeah, I always pay my rent the month it's due. It's, I'm getting sent to court 7 days into a month. They don't even do that to homeowners, but because I rent, I'm at the mercy of others.
Let me stop.
And when I bring up a point of an act that took place in the past, it was a known fact by others that I had filed bankruptcy, and they still went after money and received it, and they shouldn't have.
That's what you're.
Well, that is a
That's what I'm
completely
disputing.
separate, well, it doesn't. Okay, you can dispute it, but it doesn't impress me. After your bankruptcy, you were delinquent in your rent. We had a hearing, we had 2 hearings. I told you how much was due. You said, okay, thank you, I intend to pay it.
Yes.
We have the hearing, then you send me a letter raising all these issues which are not relevant. I'm not gonna do an immediate writ. He's asking for it today. I'm gonna give you until next Wednesday to vacate.
The amount that she
Or you're
paid.
subject to being evicted.
$3,000 is owed back to you.
Stop. I don't know who your legal advisor is, but she's not on camera. I can't hear her. I'm giving you several days. I will stay the writ of eviction. It's already been held since April 5th. Until Wednesday, April 19th. All right. You can, they want it immediately. They're entitled to it. You haven't paid the rent. But that's a bit draconian, but I gave you from April 5th until now. It's actually 14 more days than what would have been on the writ. Go back and watch the hearing on YouTube and you will see what I told you. And
Yes.
all right, this
So-
record is complete.
My
Thank you.
stay is, we're not gonna do anything with that.
No, you don't. No. Now, I would suggest you may want to get some help. Legal aid is here watching this. But your defenses aren't a defense. Your bankruptcy defense is not relevant. That happened well before this action was made. And I clearly told you how much rent was due and when it was due by, and you didn't pay it. So they want to evict you. Partial payment will not prevent the writ of eviction. You got an additional 2 weeks of grace. All right, Mr. Werner. You
Judge,
need
I'm
to
happy
find a
to
place.
speak with him in a breakout room.
All right, I'll put you in a breakout room with legal aid and you can discuss this with them. Let me get my mouse is frozen. All right, thank you. Lance, I'll sign it effective the 19th of April.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. So we're done.
Yes, I'll put him in a breakout room with legal aid and they can discuss things.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Hit the button that says join. Now remove Maria. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna shut it off. Anyway, that is a somewhat cumbersome case, not somewhat cumbersome. Perhaps Ms. Bauer can provide some assistance. I wish everyone well. I will be back on April 25th.